There are stories of heroes who never die. And then there are stories of men who should have died, and did, but returned changed, haunted, and more dangerous than before. Rest at the bonfire, and let me tell you the story of Yone, the Unforgotten. Yone was born in a quiet Ionian village, the older brother who kept watch over a younger, reckless prodigy, Yasuo. Where Yasuo was impulse and fire, Yone was the calm wind, disciplined, dutiful, and steady. The village's sword school molded both boys, teaching ancient wind techniques and insisting on harmony between skill and honor. Yone became the embodiment of that training, precise, patient, a man of duty who believed in the code more than any glory it might bring. When war came to Ionia, everything changed. A Noxian invasion tore through the countryside, and the monastery where they trained required every student to hold the line. Yasuo, driven by a need to prove himself, abandoned his post. During that chaotic time, their master, Elder Souma, was slain with a technique identical to the last breath. Yasuo, found absent and accused, was branded a murderer. The order, the village, and the law demanded justice, and Yone, torn between love for his brother and loyalty to their oath, took up the hunt. The brothers' confrontation is one of the bitterest tragedies in Runeterra. Yone tried to plead with Yasuo, to cut through the chaos with reason. But the years of accusation, the pressure of duty, and the terror in Yasuo's eyes left no space for words. The duel that followed was swift, a perfect storm of wind technique and hardened resolve. Yasuo's blade found Yone, and with a single stroke, the elder brother fell. By all rights, the story should have ended there. Death, however, did not bring peace. In the spirit realm, Yone's soul met a predator, an Azakana, a spirit that feeds on the negative emotions of mortals: regret, obsession, rage. The creature attacked him for the emptiness that chased him into death. Yone fought, and though he slew the Azakana, the cost was great. The demon's essence fused to his corpse in the form of a mask and a spirit blade. Where most souls pass on, Yone returned, reborn, marked, and walking the thin line between mortal life and the spirit realm. When he came back, he was neither fully alive nor fully dead. The Azakana's mask sat on his face, its whispers a constant pressure at the back of his mind. But the mask also granted him power, sight into the spirit world, the ability to sense malignant creatures others could not, and a cursed blade born from the demon itself. The only way to keep the Azakana from consuming what remained of his soul was to hunt its kin, to track, slay, and collect the fragments of spirit that kept trying to spill through the veil. Thus, Yone became not a conqueror, but a hunter. Of Azakana, of ghosts, and of anything that would threaten the fragile boundary between life and death. Yone's path through the spirit realm would have been far more brutal, if not for one unlikely ally: Lilia, the fawn spirit of dreams. Where Azakana are nightmares made flesh, feeding on fear, doubt, and obsession, Lilia is their opposite. A creature born from humanity's hopes, dreams, and potential. Their meeting is one of the gentlest moments in Yone's otherwise relentless story. Lilia sensed the Azakana mask clinging to Yone the moment she saw him. To most mortals, his presence would feel like a cold wind, a disturbance between realms. But Lilia understood the wound he carried. Not just the demon fused to his face, but the guilt, the fear, and the deep sadness he had never been allowed to express in life. She helped him understand what Azakana truly are, and why they flock to humans whose emotions spiral out of control. In her, Yone found the first being who neither feared him nor judged him. Instead, she tried to help him heal. Through Lilia, Yone learned that emotions, even the darkest ones, are not curses, but signs of unresolved stories. Her compassion didn't cure him, but it steadied him. She guided him through the spirit realm when the whispers from his mask grew too strong. And in return, Yone protected her delicate dream magic from the predators lurking in the shadows. Those shadows had a name: Nocturne. Where Azakana are lesser spirits of personal suffering, Nocturne is something far worse: a nightmare given form. A primal horror born from mankind's collective fear. Fear of the dark, fear of pain, fear of death. Nocturne slips through the veil as a blade of pure terror, severing a dreamer's life in the instant between waking and sleeping. And there is no reasoning with him, no shame, no regret, only hunger. Yone has seen the trail Nocturne leaves in both realms. Broken dreams, shattered minds, souls twisted beyond recovery. The Azakana he hunts are dangerous, but they are also symptoms of human struggle. Nocturne is the disease. And so, Yone made a silent vow. One day he will hunt Nocturne, not as a duty, but as justice. Not just for the mortals whose dreams the demon has devoured, but for Lilia, whose very existence is threatened by Nocturne's spreading corruption. For the first time since his resurrection, Yone has something that resembles purpose beyond survival. Lilia helps him understand the dream world. Yone shields her from the nightmares trying to slip through. Together, they form one of the strangest, quietest partnerships in Runeterra. A man half dead and half spirit, and a shy fawn dreaming of courage. Years passed. Yasuo wandered in exile, guilt his only companion. He had been a prodigy who failed to protect his master, and that failure turned him into a fugitive. Rumors and hate followed him. He learned to survive in the margins. When the brothers met again, the reunion was raw and inevitable. Yone confronted Yasuo not to punish, but because the wound in his own heart would not heal until the truth was known. Their blades flashed, two master swordsmen clashing beneath the sky. But this time, the fight was also a reckoning. Yone revealed what he had learned. Elder Souma's death was not the crime Yasuo had been blamed for. The truth was more complicated, and only later revelations would fully clear Yasuo's name. For the first time, the brothers began to understand each other again. What followed was not a heroic crusade against some world-shattering force. Yone's fight was quieter, stranger, and more internal. He did not become a sentinel against the ruination in any canon text. He did not single-handedly face Viego's black mist. That's a line some fans have speculated on, but the official record is clearer. Yone's burden is personal. Azakana, the spirit predators, and the mystery of his own mask. He walks the borderlands of the living and the dead, cutting down the things that slip through the cracks. His mask is both prison and weapon. Its whispers can twist a man toward rage, but it also gives him uncanny perception of the spirit world. Yone learned to use that edge without becoming wholly consumed. He wields two blades now, the steel he trained with, and the Azakana blade bound to his soul. The duality is his burden and his salvation. He must remain vigilant not only against external predators, but against the one that sits inside him. Yone's story threads through other tragedies: the ruination, the fall of ancient isles. Not as a headline hero, but as one who tracks the darker echoes of those calamities. When the black mist and its possessed horrors spread, Azakana too can be affected. Demons grow bolder, spirits more restless. Yone's work becomes more urgent in times of wide, ghostly unrest. But the sources we have do not depict him as the prime warrior against Viego. He is a specialist, a stalking presence who responds to the imbalance the mist creates. And through all of it, the relationship with Yasuo remains the heart of his tale. They are mirrors, two brothers who represent different responses to grief, guilt, and duty. Yasuo fled into exile, swamped with shame and ruin. Yone returned with a mask and a mission. Where one sought solitude to escape consequence, the other became a bridge to the spirit world, confronting what others would rather bury. When they stand together, their history gives any moment between them the weight of years, of mistakes, of forgiveness still being carved with every swing of steel. In the end, Yone is less a monster and more a warning. Some wounds do not end with death. A life can fracture beyond repair, and the things that come after can be kinder or crueler than any blade. He walks a lonely path, hunting predators the living cannot see, and in doing so, tries to keep the living safe from the dead. That is his purpose now. That is his penance. Restless, haunted, and resolute, Yone is the man between worlds.